As students work on their actual PDF or assignment within a workspace, I always encourage them to bookmark. So remember, this takes a screenshot of this page right here, and we can rename this bookmark to the student's name. And I also encourage students to write their name up here in somewhere on their PDF or near where they have bookmarked their work. You can easily create graphic organizers on SmartAmp by using some of the shapes that are available. If we want to create an easy graphic organizer such as a Venn diagram, we can easily drag out this circle right here. We can go ahead and clone the circle, drag it right next to our other circle. We can finish drawing this line as neatly as possible with our mouse, or jump on an iPad and draw it with our finger. And then we're going to take this whole graphic organizer, of course, and we're going to lock it in place. If I needed more of these, I could clone it first, but I'm just going to use one, so I'm going to lock it in place. Other shapes such as the pentagons or rectangles and combination of text box allows us to make other graphic organizers that students might use. As you start to build your workspace for a unit or lesson plan, I encourage you to make the bookmarks go in the order of which you'd like the students to complete the activities. Remember that you can navigate through the bookmarks using this tool right here. This will take you right down the bookmarks, and if any time you need to retake a bookmark or rename it, it's very easy to do so. You can also change the order of which you have your bookmarks by clicking on those dots right above the trash can. If you want to delete the bookmark, you obviously click the trash can. As you start to add videos to your workspace, you don't need to worry about making the video very big, because when students go to watch the video, they can actually click full screen on their iPad anyways. This is also true for websites or anything that you add to your workspace with a link, because in reality all students need to be able to do is click the Open in New tab button, so there's no reason to make that icon extremely big and take up a lot of space on the workspace. So I can zoom and close this and make it a little bit smaller. Remember, I can always zoom in really close and just take a bookmark of what I want my students to be looking at. While we're on the subject of adding websites or links to your workspace, I wanted to share that you can easily add Google Docs. If you've created a lesson or activity that you want students to access, you can go ahead, for example, a cornerstone task you might take and copy the link and then take that onto your workspace just as if it was a website, just so things are all in one space or in one place for students to find. One important tip or technique is to think about whether you are going to have all of your students collaborate on one workspace, or if you are going to use the handout copies feature that we discussed in an earlier video. If you plan to hand out copies to individual students or student groups, you need to make sure that you are finished creating the workspace in which you want them to have a copy of. In other words, make sure that you have added all of your materials to the workspace before you go here and click Handout Copies. One suggestion I also have is to create your assessment on the master copy. In other words, I've created this volume workspace for students. It includes exit tickets in the bottom right corner. It includes some different activities that they will be completing, as well as their standards and essential questions. When my students are ready, I will create an assessment on this original workspace for the students to come back and complete. They have been given their own copy of this workspace already, so the assessment that I create will not show up on any of their copies. If you want to give each individual group a different assessment, then you would want to create the assessment in each individual copy that you hand out. But if you want each student in the class to be taking the same assessment at the end of the lesson, then I would make the assessment in the master copy just like I showed you. This way I can easily manage what students have done in their own copies with their groups or individually, and then when I am ready to go back to my original copy, I will share that original copy with the students so that they can take the assessment I have created.